So we're going to be talking about mixing colors to create atmospheric perspective. And the key principle at play here is that light travels through the atmosphere. There's dust, moisture, pollutants, and it scatters shorter, cooler wavelengths, meaning we're going to use cooler colors. And it tends to go towards the blue violets over here. And it makes distant objects appear bluer, lighter, and less saturated. Warmer colors, on the other hand, tend to appear closer. So at the top of our picture here, these objects that are further away are going to be more on the blue-violet spectrum in the cool colors. And then these things in the front are going to be on the warmer side, and they're going to be more towards our true hue colors. All right, so let's get started. The first color we're going to make is this sky color. It's somewhere between these, so let's start with some white. And remember, we want cool colors. So here's my cool blue. And I'm going to get all of my cool colors out. My cool yellow. And my cool red. Let's start with these and see what it gets us. We might have to adjust these colors based on the time of day. I took this picture on a cloudy day in the afternoon. I'm going to start with some white. I'm going to mix a little blue and some red into it, but it needs to be more blue. And let's see what color this looks like. It's pretty purple. Let's add some more blue. Some more blue. Remember, acrylics are going to dry darker. Because this was taken in the afternoon, a little warmer, I'm going to add just a touch of the warm blue. Just the tiniest bit. Ah, perfect. So I'm going to start with this color at the very top. It's pretty good. And then as things get closer to the horizon, so we'll say this is the horizon, it's going to get lighter. So I'm going to take some white and I'm going to blend that white in wet on wet, wet into wet paint. So it appears darker on top, gets lighter towards the horizon. And I'm okay leaving these striations. It acts like the cloud cover in the sky. Right, next, we're going to create the darkest value in the mountains. Comparing to our color scale over here, I would say that maybe it's closer to violet, but it's a gray. And how do we make gray? Well, we have to mix in the complementary color. The complementary color of blue is, does anybody know? It's orange. So we can take our blue, violet color, so it's blue with some red, and orange is just yellow and red. Notice I'm not cleaning my brush or anything because I'm just going to mix it all together anyway. Let's take some of this orange to tone that down. Tone it down, make it less saturated, less of the hue color. And put in some white. Now, this appears too red to me. While I like this color more, it still needs to be toned down. All right, we've got a nice gray color. Let's see what it looks like. We can always adjust it later. Oh, I'm happy with that. So one of the things we talked about is playing with the peak shape. So making an accurate ridge shape. And then utilizing opposing lines. So it's a little bit of a triangle. I'm getting my overall shape, just a basic shape, and then I can add my peaks in. All right, the next color is this one. Now I've been playing around with warm colors and cool colors. By using warm colors, it's going to appear to be coming forward more. Cool colors are going to push it back. We want it behind these trees, but we also want it to appear like this is a big, big, huge pyramid of a mountain. So what should we do? I think this is up to you artistically. But let's try sticking with our cool colors. It appears to me that it's going to move a little bit more towards the green on this one because it's coming forward more. Things that are pushing back tend to sit here. So it's coming forward more, but it's still very tinted. It's very desaturated, meaning it's further from the original hue, the pure color, further from the pure color. Start by making a bluish green. Still using my cool colors. And then let's desaturate it by adding in some white. It's pretty nice. But a way to, we can tone it down just a little bit more. Well, that's pretty good. Let's see what it looks like. Now these are shadows. So they kind of copy the shape of the ridge line. Then as we pull these colors forward, it can either become more saturated, less white, more of just a blue-green. We could just keep it basic for now. Keep it all kind of the same. Because we're going to be going over this with some trees. All right, next let's put some of the snow, some highlights and snow on our mountain. If we use pure white, then it's going to bring those mountains forward too much. So we're just going to take one of these colors, doesn't matter which one, and tint some white with it a little bit. So there's my pure white, and I'm going to tint my white. I'm just going to choose which one I like, one with a bluish color, and I'm just going to tint that white. All right, now we're going to use opposing brush strokes. So simply, if this is my peak, I will go one direction on one side of the peak, like the letter A, and an opposing direction, so the opposite direction on the other side of the peak, like the letter A. Going into this blue is perfectly fine also. This is just a shadow. I'm just using the corner of my brush. This is the peak, making the letter A. Now I'm not doing this exactly like the picture. I'm just using this as a reference to spark my creativity. We'll say there's a peak here, just making the letter A. Next, we're going to make the darkest value in these trees. That darkest value that we know how to make with these paints is black. It's a chromatic black. So we make chromatic black with a blue violet, and we add a little bit of yellow to it. Now on our sheet, we did cool blue with warm red and some yellow. That little bit of warmth, whether we use a warm red or we use a warm yellow, a tiny bit of warmth is going to bring these trees forward, but continuing with the cool back. So you can use all cool colors, or you can add a tiny bit of warmth to it. So I'm going to try my blue. So I need mostly blue. There's my blue. I need some red. This is just a cool red. I'm not following exactly what's here. This says warm red. I'll show you the difference. And cool yellow. Having it be more of a blue-green tone is perfectly fine, because they're trees. So if you don't get this perfect chromatic black, That's okay. We just want a dark color. All right. Now the trees, we can just put a little line here. That's where this front one is. We want them to appear like they're either getting bigger and smaller or bigger and smaller. I'm going to say that these ones are closer. So I'm going to make them bigger here and get smaller as they go to the right. All right, my largest trees are here. They get smaller as they go over. This just to remind me what I'm doing. And I'm just going to dab with the corner of my brush, kind of sideways, sporadically. Using the edge of my brush, just kind of going side to side all the way down to the bottom. Now to load up your brush like Bob Ross would do, he would say, you go wiggle, 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 and flip it, wiggle, 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 and this creates a sharp point on your brush. Right, so we're just gonna put a bunch of trees in the foreground here that are bigger on one side, get smaller to the other. I used all cool colors, and we're going to be adding warm colors on top of these, so I'm not worried too much about how perfect they are right now. Just straight up and down for the top and side to side. Don't worry too much, we will go over these. I'm just going really fast because I'm not super concerned. These are just the shadow parts of the trees. Make some that just really small in the background here. Okay, next we're going to be pulling, make sure these trees we want to come and jump forward. So now we're going to switch into the colors here, the hue, that are very saturated. And we're even going to go as far as to jump to the warm side. So I'm going to get my warm colors out. Warm yellow. Warm red. And some warm blue. I'll probably need some more cool blue also. So let's mix up a green, a blue green, because these are blue spruce. Mix up this cool. Looks, I'm going to use my cool blue, but I'm going to also put in some warm blue and some warm yellow to make a green. And I'm going to add a little bit of red in it to tone it down. And this gives us a nice dark green with a little bit of warmth to it. I'm just going to put that right on top of these trees, making sure that some of that color comes through. It's your mid-tone color, so focus on the middle of the trees. Let some of those darker tones come through. And you might want to put a tree in between these. Let's get this light on for you. Right, next we are going to make a really warm color, but it's going to be a tint. So let's just add some white to this for a highlight. Maybe we add a little bit more warm yellow. And choose the right or the left, whichever works for you to put your highlights in the picture. It looks like it's kind of on the left here. And I'm just putting these highlights here and there on the right side of the tree. And I haven't even cleaned my brush off. I'm keeping all these tones on here, letting them kind of naturally mix. My paintbrush tip is pointed down, and I'm just using the corner kind of dab in some color, so it's a flick, 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 flick. I can rotate my paintbrush to change the direction. And try to make your trees different. Don't make them all the same. They will look more realistic if they are different from one another. Maybe we've got this aspen tree here in the front. You can just take some more white, some yellow, a little more white. Then kind of dapple that in. It's going to make it appear like it's even further in front of the trees we already have on the page. This one's in the front. Even add a couple small highlights. See how these lighter colors come forward in the picture to give us atmospheric perspective using color and tint, saturation. Kind of swirl it around. And that's it. Unless you want to add in some aspens over here. Okay, let's see what would happen with these trees if I used warm green, warm blue, warm yellow, super bright, super vibrant hue, very saturated color. Adding this in is going to make anything appear even closer. Now, I prefer to have a little bit of toned down in some way. So whether you use the complementary color of green, which is red, that appears more natural to me than just the pure hue when doing a landscape, especially if we don't have anything right in front of our face. But that's just a preference of mine. So I'm going back in and going over some of these to desaturate them just a little bit. There's our picture. Simple, fast, those are the basic concepts. All right, let's do a recap of the colors we used. Here we used cool colors. We used white. We used cool blue, cool red, but mostly cool blue. And we just had a little bit of cool red. We did decide to add a touch of warm blue, the tiniest bit, because this picture was taken in the afternoon. it's darker at the top, meaning there's more color at the top and it's less saturated. Towards the horizon line. So this means we added white. And we mixed them together. Right, to make the mountain, this gray tone right here, and we took that gray tone down, we used cool colors again. We used, and we kind of did a mix of these, a blue-violet, but then we used the complementary color to pull it towards gray. So to make blue-violet, we use cool colors again because these mountains are in the background. So we use cool blue. We used cool red. But we used more of the cool blue. Then to tone it down, we use the complementary color, which is orange. To tone this color down. And we had white. And that gives you a gray. Mixing any two complementary colors that are across from each other on the color wheel will give you a gray if you add a white into it. All right, this next color here, we used more of a blue-green. So we started with cool blue, and cool yellow, and we added what's the opposite of green? Red. So to tone it down just a little bit, we added a little bit of cool red. Because it was more saturated, closer to the hue, obviously not all the way to the hue, but closer to the hue, this brings it forward, makes it appear that it is closer to us than the mountain because it's more saturated, has more pure color in it, less white. It still has white, but it has less white than either of these. And we took that all the way down. Okay, to make the tree color, the darkest color here, when we roughed in these trees, like Bob Ross, we started with cool colors, but you can use cool or warm, that's up to you. What you want to do is you want to make a blue-violet and then add yellow to it. So a blue-violet and add yellow. This is going to give you a dark value. Now, whether that dark value is here, 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 any of these are fine. It just needs to be dark. Same with the warm colors. These are all good colors. They just need to be dark. Then, to make the trees come forward, the highlights. You need highlights and you need midtones. So for your midtones, you're going to use more warm colors. We're going to get warm yellow. I'm still going to use that cool blue because I think it makes a nice pine tree, the cool blue. And yellow and blue mixed green, you can use that. Or if you use your warm colors, so warm yellow and warm blue, you might need to tone that down a little bit with a red. All right, hope this was a good review for your final.